având în vedere calitatea prezentărilor, am decis totuși să dăm două premii 2. Primul premiu 2, Amelia Voinea, și al doilea premiu 2,
Hello, I'm Allah, second year medical student, and today I'd like to talk more about the brain and light, but I would talk about the pathological aspect. And I will talk about Alzheimer's disease, be the most dominant and the most widespread type of dementia worldwide. So it started with the German psychiatrist Alois Alzheimer, and he encountered the first case of Alzheimer's that could be traced, this lady, Augustita, in 1901, and he tried to question the lady to ask her about her name, her husband's name, any information she couldn't answer. So he, as a psychiatrist, identified this disorder as a peculiar disease. And after her death in 1906 and the biopsies, the body was examined, and after this event in about 1913, the disease was officially known later on as Alzheimer's disease. And after that, a lot of research was conducted. And now, in this moment, we know that Alzheimer's disease is a neurodegeneration that happens in the brain, starts in the hippocampus, and it goes globally. And the tau proteins and the amyloid plaques are involved in such process of neurodegeneration. Now, to the theme of the Brain Awareness Week. The theme is brain and light. But when we mention light, we have to consider that link, that and in the topic. The eye, the organ that lets the brain in the first place perceive the light. And as I mentioned, I'm gonna talk about this from the pathological aspect. So can we look at the eye and through the eye perceive if there is a problem with the brain or not? So as we can see here, we have the eyes, the optic nerve, and the optic chiasm, and finally the information that leads to the occipital cortex. And the part of the eye that receives the light that we are concerned with, we have the ganglion cells. They are on the front line in the retina. So, technically, we're going to talk about diseases that are occurring in the retina. Matter of fact, we have glaucoma, and I included glaucoma in the title of the presentation. So why did I choose glaucoma specifically? Glaucoma is a case of neurodegeneration of retinal ganglion cells. And as we can see here, it was discovered that also amyloid plaques and tau tangles, the phosphorylation, the hyperphosphorylation of tau proteins, is involved in the mechanism of retinal disorders. So, now to the link, the point between glaucoma and Alzheimer's. In 2003, it was firstly discovered by L.A. Goldstein and his colleagues that beta amyloids are found in the lenses of Alzheimer's disease patients. And after this amazing discovery, research was carried on, and it was said that patients with Alzheimer's disease may have a significantly increased incidence of glaucoma. and that the changes of beta amyloids and the taus that are found in the vitreous fluid of patients with glaucoma are similar to the findings of the cerebrospinal fluid of Alzheimer's disease patients. Now to the current situation. Currently, we have around 36 million people, or around 40 million people living with Alzheimer's disease worldwide. And this number is gonna double, or nearly double, into 76 million people into 2030. And when we look at glaucoma, in 2010, the patients with glaucoma were around 60.5 million, and in 2020, this number is going to reach 80 million. And the link between Alzheimer's and glaucoma is very, very important. That we have an organization, Bright Focus. They have their website, and the website they have information about Alzheimer's, glaucoma, and also macular degeneration. There's also an eye disease, and they link all of these together. So now that we reviewed that part, we will talk about the treatment. Now, we know that these kind of diseases are both related. So what should we do about it? For the glaucoma, currently it can be treated or managed by using eye drops, pills, laser surgery, and traditional surgery. And we can see that the vision loss from glaucoma is irreversible, just like the cognitive impairment and the memory loss in Alzheimer's disease is also irreversible. And there is part of good news that if the glaucoma is early detected, it can be managed. But the point is currently we have a potential of 10-year delay in the diagnosis. And at that point, when the patient goes and he's diagnosed that he has glaucoma already, we have around 20 to 40% of the retinal ganglion cells lost. And there's an experimental glaucoma in rats, and we have the amyloid beta that causes the retinal ganglion cell loss. So we have these white spots, which are the retinal ganglion cell loss, and we have amyloid beta antibodies that could target the amyloid beta peptides. And this is a research in the University College London, and they said that they had positive results. So using amyloid beta antibodies in order to target amyloid beta peptides. As for Alzheimer's disease, currently there's also no cure that can simply eliminate the disease, yet all the current treatments are symptomatic, and so for example we have phosphatase inhibitors like donepezioxanthine or histamine, or NMDA receptor blockers like memantine, and because of the lack of explanation of the main trigger of the pathogenesis, all the treatments are just symptomatic. Yet, now we go to the conclusion. Now we have a window, as I see it, that we can look through in order to identify what's going on with the brain. With these similarities, generally, both of the diseases are age-related, the mechanisms are similar, and so on. So the recommendation is we could we could look into ocular pathologies in order to widen or spread the field of research, in order to find a proper treatment for both diseases or disorders that can finally target the main trigger, or we can research in such fields more and more, not just being centered in one side. Also, at least ocular or retinal pathologies could be used as a method for early detection of Alzheimer's disease, because the early detection of the disease is a very, very important method that we have right now in order to target the cognitive and behavioral impairment in the stage of the mild cognitive impairment and not in the progressive state. And these are the references, and I thank you so much for your attention. As for the educational activities, in this channel Edu for Free, I've been making high school subjects tutorials since I was 16 years old, and I'm still making these tutorials. Also this year I started making tutorials about medical curriculum like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and so on.